Marvel Rivals comes jam-packed with 33 characters. So today we'll be going over all the characters' abilities as well as their ultimates. So let's get started. Jeff the Landsharker is currently the best healer in Marvel Rivals. Now here's why. First off, he's a cutie patootie, and this man's comes stacked with certain abilities, such as the hide and seek, where you can basically just dive into the map. You move a lot faster and you can even heal yourself with this. He's also the only hero with continuous healing, so you can shoot this spout of water and heal your teammates on the fly. You can also provide your team or yourself with healing bubbles, which kind of act like med packs you can just place anywhere. When you're in the dive state, you can even climb walls kind of like Spider-Man, so you can provide that sneak attack if you want. His ultimate is also pretty OP, allowing you to dive underwater and swallow up the enemy. You then have a few seconds to spit your enemies out wherever you please, so it's really easy to thrust opponents off the stage. Jeff isn't totally defenseless either. His main attack is spouting with these water balls, and they actually kind of pack a punch. So when in doubt, make sure you Jeff it out. If you need an easy to use character that deals absolute massive damage, the Punisher is your man. Anybody who's ever played any type of shooter game can pick up this character in Marvel Rivals, and it just feels natural. You basically just point and shoot, and as long as you are hitting your shot, you are doing massive damage. And if you think you can bunker down, you can summon up a turret and do even more massive damage. Your turret will only break when it runs out of ammo or the shield is broken, so you can sit here all day laying waste. You also have a handy zipline ability that allows you to get to hard to reach places, so you can get that tactical advantage. You're even able to use it back and forth as you please, so you can set one up strategically and use it whenever. You also have one more ability that acts as a smoke screen, and whenever you launch it, you kind of launch back as well, giving you an extra way to escape. Now we can't forget about his ultimate. Once your ultimate is activated, you have 2 Gatling guns as well as missiles to decimate your foe. You will absolutely be decimating people. They won't know where to hit them. Damn. And almost forgot to mention, you have that long range as well as a shiny Bugatti. So if somebody gets close up in your face, you got the shotgun to shut them up. This man absolutely comes stacked. Luna Snow is absolutely OP when it comes to healing the team, and it's because basically all of her attacks heal the team in some capacity. Her primary fire attack heals your teammates, so even if you're aiming at the enemy and your teammate gets in the way, they get that passive healing. When you activate the ice arts, you get a super powered version of this, being able to deal more damage as well as generate more heals. And then her other ability, Absolute Zero, allows you to freeze opponents, which still heals your allies if you hit them with it as well. And her ultimate is also pretty powerful as well. You will dance your cheeks off as you heal the team. You basically can't die, or at least I've never died. So Luna Snow is absolutely equipped when it comes to healing. And as you can see, she has some good mobility as well. So as you push forward on the stick, you begin to skate. And while you're in this mode, you have a bigger jump as well. This allows you to get out of those tight situations or get to your teammates that are in need. So you definitely can't go wrong with Luna Snow. Now I'm not too sure about Rocket Raccoon, but his arsenal is pretty stacked. He's a fired up raccoon man that can both deal damage and heal your allies. By pressing your primary trigger, you deal the damage with his Gatling gun, and then his secondary fire fires these bouncy healing balls, so you can kind of use them to bounce around corners to heal your enemy. You can move a little faster by dashing as well, and you can also set up a station that will supply armor. By picking up this armor, you can get some overshield. You also have the ability to climb up walls and fall slowly with your jetpacks, so this small man is actually packed. He has a decent arsenal to defend himself, as well as keep his allies alive. His ultimate ability puts down a cosmic yarn, giving you damage boost. Let me know if you like this guy, because all I ever see is him getting pounded in those PvP matches. Now I'm unsure of Adam Warlock, but he does seem to have a pretty robust set of moves, and one of his abilities allows you to not even die. So let's get into it. He uses quantum magic to do damage to the foes. You're able to heal your allies with one of your abilities, and when you die, you kind of just float around. Once you're ready, you're able to hit the cocoon and step right back into the action. This does have a pretty significant cooldown, but this move in itself is absolutely OP. You're also able to forge a soul bond with your teammates, which distributes damage as it's taken. And then you also have an ability where you gather up energy and fire them all at once. This doesn't seem to be all that powerful though, or maybe I'm just not hitting those headshots. Now he's able to revive himself, but he's also able to revive his fallen allies as well, although not to full health, but they do receive a bit of invincibility for a few seconds. So Adam Warlock could come in absolutely clutch in some of these situations when it comes to Marvel Rivals. Loki is another support support character I can see being very powerful when used right. His primary fire attack allows you to heal your teammates, as well as dish damage to the enemy. You can provide a regeneration domain for your teammates, allowing you to have a wide area for your teammates to heal up. And you can also create different doppelgangers of yourself, which you can swap between on the fly. You also have another ability to help you evade. This one is called Deception, so you basically turn into a ghost and move away, kind of tricking your enemy with a clone. He also has a unique ability if you're able to get behind the enemy. If you're able to hit it from the back with your melee attack, you do extra damage. And then your ultimate ability allows you to take the ability of whoever you choose, and then even use their ultimate. So if you can master Loki, you truly are mischievous. Now, the Mantis was somebody I was unsure of in Marvel Rivals. That was until I took the time to actually learn what she can do. She's a 1-star difficulty, and she's all about managing those life orbs. So you have 4 of those leaf looking things on the screen, those are your orbs, and every time you get a critical hit with your primary fire, you get one of those orbs restored. So keeping in mind your orb management, you're able to inspire your teammates, giving them an attack boost. You can heal them as well with the life orbs, and then you can inspire yourself as well. You even have the ability to send people to sleep, and as long as you're getting those critical hits, your orbs will restore in no time. So a nice balance of attack and defense is going to be critical in mastering her. Her ultimate provides a bunch of healing and a movement boost to you and your allies that are close, which could turn the tide of any battle. I definitely won't be sleeping on the Mantis anymore. This next hero is absolutely caked up, and her name is Cloak and Dagger. Her primary fire damages enemies, as well as heals your team, so you have a little attack and support at the same time. Using the Veil of the Light Force puts out a healing shield, which heals the teammates that get hit by it. You also have Dagger Storm, which when thrown creates a dome of healing, so she comes pretty stacked when it comes to healing. But that's not the only trick she has up her sleeve. She has a second form called Shadow's Cloak. Your primary fire unleashes a continuous string of damage, and when using Terror's Cape, any enemy caught in it becomes blind and receives more damage. You also have Dark Teleportation, which if your allies get caught in it, it'll grant them a movement boost. You can also freely switch between these modes at any time with no cooldown, so you can use them as you see fit. Their ultimate is combined with each other, and it allows you to do 3 dashes. If it hits your allies, they are healed, but if it hits the enemy, they're damaged. So it's a 2-for-1 special. Penny Parker has to be my favorite tank so far. She is absolutely stacked with health and a bunch of abilities to help defend and control a point. She's able to climb up walls, keeping her mobile, and when you put down a bionic spider nest, you get healing over time as well as a movement boost. It even spins mini spider drones to help you out. You can also send out arachno mines to give the enemies an explosive surprise, and if you have a bunch of these stacked up, the enemy definitely doesn't stand a chance. You also have your cyber web snare, which if you launch it at an opponent, it'll trap them for a moment, but you can also put it on the ground for some mobile healing. You also have cyber bond, which you can actually use as a sling, and then you have your ultimate ability. Well, you can ram people and thrust them up into the air. You can also deploy arachno mines too, dealing some pretty massive damage. When it comes to point control, Penny is your girl. Now, whenever I see a Venom on the enemy team, I know I'm about to get my cheeks clapped. He's an easy to use tank with a wide range of abilities. His main primary attack sends out his tendrils to attack his opponents. And of course, being a spider, he can crawl or run if you so choose. And he's surprisingly mobile for a tank, allowing you to swing into action. You can even combine these swing with a takedown, which will launch opponents into the sky. Using cellular corrosion will slow down enemies while they're tangled in your symbiotic grasp. You also have symbiotic resilience, and when you use this ability, you generate health based on the damage you take. The lower your health is when you activate this ability, the more bonus health that you receive. Your ultimate ability allows you to dive underground and swallow up enemies, and depending on their health, you get a bonus back. So Venom is equipped with some beastly tanking options, great mobility, and he's actually very easy to use. Now, Captain America is a versatile hero. Every time I see him rushing up with his shield, I gotta change my pants. One of the coolest abilities he has is to be able to sprint into action, and while sprinting you have that signature Captain America jump. This man's is all about getting up close and personal. So when you do that, you're able to melee your opponents. You're able to throw your shield in the face of the enemy, giving them some dental bills. And of course, you're able to use your shield in combat. You'll be able to block a certain amount of hit points, and while your shield is activated, you can hit a back smash. You're even able to do a ground smash after your jump and sprint. And then his ultimate ability, Freedom Charge, gives you and your allies increased movement speed as well as health bonuses, so you can rush into your enemy and start beating the snot out of them. My bad, Bruce. Captain America is a powerful adversary when used right, so make sure you come equipped when trying to face him. Magneto is the daddy of shields, and you'll see why in a second. You have your main shield power, which only blocks projectiles, so if somebody's coming at you to melee, be careful. You can shield yourself, and as you receive damage, you gain rings on your back. You can also shield an ally, and the same applies. The rings that you stack up from its abilities are used for your mag cannon, so the more rings you have, the stronger it'll be. And then for your ultimate, you hurl a pretty powerful meteorite at your opponents. Magneto has a versatile defense toolkit, and when used right, you can overwhelm the enemy. Now when it comes to Thor, you don't mess with this man. He's the god of thunder for a reason. He uses his hammer to beat people upside the head, throws his hammer to do some damage, and then even uses the hammer to throw himself. Now as you continue to hit enemies, you gain Thor Force, which you can use to heal yourself and become in this awakened state. You can also put it down in an electrifying shield in order to boost that Thor Force. I can't even say those two words together, but basically you want to be in this mode as much as you can. This is where he's the most powerful. His ultimate is called God of Thunder, where you soar upwards and then come spiraling down. Thor is all about melee damage, and with this tool set, he's kind of unstoppable. Now Doctor Strange in Marvel Rivals is a bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing. As you deal damage to your enemies, you gradually build up a dark magic meter. Now if you maximize this, you start to lose health, or I should say you lose the ability to be healed. That's when you use Maelstrom of Madness. This releases that dark energy, so the more close you are to that 100%, the more that release will damage. You also come equipped with a magical shield, blocking incoming projectiles, and you're able to fly throughout the battlefield, so you can ascend and descend for a limited amount of time, raining justice from above. You're also able to put in portals, which will easily get you to one place to the other, which is actually kind of trippy. What the hell? His ultimate allows you to separate the souls of your enemies, and the more damage you do to the soul, the more damage they receive. I'm not a huge fan of his moveset, but for some reason I absolutely get my cheeks clapped whenever I come up against him. Now some people have some beef with the Hulk, saying that his moveset doesn't match his abilities. I'll let you be the judge of that. You start out as Bruce, only wielding a pistol and a couple of gamma grenades. You need to build up your ultimate so that you can Hulk out. Once you Hulk out, you have a bunch of abilities, but be careful, because if your HP falls back to 0, you transform back to Bruce, and Bruce ain't that guy. You can give yourself a gamma shield, and as long as it's being damaged, you gain some Hulk smash points. You also have the Hulk leap, which allows you to jump an excessive amount. You can straight up shoot gamma bursts, dealing damage to your enemies, and then use radioactive lockdown to lock your targets up. Your ultimate allows you to become a Mega Hulk pretty much, allowing you to really Hulk smash. Damn, I'd hate to be her. So you let me know if the Hulk is lacking some movesets. Groot has to be one of the best character designs, but also the most annoying to fight against. He uses his arms like whips to strike down enemies, but if you also spam his melee ability, on the 3rd hit, you'll launch your opponents up, so definitely don't skip out on this move. Your first ability allows you to spawn in a wall, which grants you some defense, or another way to make a choke. Your second ability allows you to make another wall, but everything changes when you're in an awakened state. When you're near the walls, you'll awaken them, and depending on the wall you have put down, they'll either grant you a health boost or attack the enemies, so these walls offer more than defense. You also have the Spore Bomb ability that launches into a little bit smaller bombs, dealing damage to the enemy. And then your ultimate ability unleashes vines, trapping your enemies, allowing you to deal out that justice. Groot comes action-packed with moves, and now that I know them, I respect him a lot more. Storm is the master of weather, and when it comes to DPS, she packs a punch, but she also comes with some support abilities as well. You're able to fly throughout the map just by pointing and looking. You're also able to ascend and descend at will, and you have the ability to switch between 2 modes. Your first mode will give you a movement boost, while your second mode will give you a damage boost, so you can swap between this and combat as needed. If you press your Goddess Boost ability in your lightning form, you'll damage nearby enemies and give your team a boost in damage. If you use your Goddess Boost in Tornado mode, you'll get a slightly higher speed boost. You're also able to thrust lightning bolts at your opponents, dealing some pretty decent damage. When you're ready for your ultimate, you transform into a giant hurricane pulling in enemies, dealing some massive damage. I think she comes in pretty stacked, being able to control the air or the ground. I didn't know how powerful HELA was until I actually tried her out. This beautiful woman has it all. She has mobility to get you in and out of fights. Her primary attack is a hit scan, so as soon as you click fire, your attack is hidden. You also have Soul Drainer, which temporarily paralyzes your target. And then you have even more DPS potential with Piercing Knight, which fires multiple swords at your enemies. You come with the ability to glide slowly as you fall down from the sky, and when it's time to unleash your ultimate, you become the Goddess of Death, being able to rain down justice from above. Now this is an AoE attack, and it does devastating damage. You are the master of damage when you're bringing this chick to the team. Now when you see Magic, you better hit your shots or run. Her primary fire has you swinging around this great sword. You're also able to use stepping discs, which allows you to teleport forward a bit, all the while keeping you invincible while doing so. You have Humble Incursion, which launches you forward and sends enemy up into the sky. You also have Magic Slash, allowing you to add some range to your attack. Your ultimate allows you to turn into Darkchild, enhancing all of your abilities if you can hit your shots. But you can also do some combos with your stepping disc. So if you do a stepping disc and your primary fire, you can spin out of it, doing some damage. Alternatively, you can summon a demon if you use your Magic Slash afterwards. Also, as you do damage to the enemy, you convert that into bonus health for you. She comes with a pretty wide range of abilities, allowing you to stay in the fight or get out when needed. If you can hit your shots with Hawkeye, you can basically murk the entire team. He's basically the brother of Hanzo. You have your standard arrow shot, which does some massive damage if you can hit those headshots, which I definitely can't, except for sometimes. But you can also swap to explosive arrows, so you'll shoot 3 arrows at a time with an explosive impact, which comes in handy with those close encounters. She did. You can also initiate a double jump, allowing you to get to hard to reach places. And then you have Crescent Slash, which allows you to slash forward and send enemies flying. You also have your Ronin Slash, allowing you to use your Katana, and then you also have Hypersonic Arrow. This attack not only slows enemies, but does damage. It even knocks flying heroes out of the sky. And when you use your ultimate, you capture after images of the enemy. When you attack these images, that damage is then transferred to that character. So all in all, you need to have some aim for this character. So if you have that, you can become absolutely unstoppable. The Moon Knight isn't to be trifled with. Your primary fire unleashes Crescent Darts, which will bounce between the enemies, so you're basically hitting more than one person at a time. You have a grapple hook to get you in and out of business, and then your ultimate brings down the moon upon your enemies, raining down these majestic beasts. You can enter a gliding state, kind of like Batman, and you have the Triple Eclipse combo. This is basically your melee attack, but on the third hit, you'll launch enemies up into the sky. The Moon Knight can of course hit that double jump too, which you can combine with the glide. This man's smooth as hell. And then you also have the Moon Blade. The real source of his power is using these onks though. You can basically multiply your damage using these things, if you have those skills, unlike me. I didn't know they added Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob, but Squirrel Girl has got it going on. She has a pretty diverse set of moves that allows you to hop into action. Her primary fire shoots nuts in the face of your enemies, and these nuts will bounce and explode on impact, so you could basically just lob them around corners if you wanted to. It almost acts like Junkrat's weapon in Overwatch. You have the ability to use your tail to bounce out, and then you also have Squirrel Blockade. This allows you to unleash squirrels to immobilize your enemy for a short time. You can also use the Mammal Bond technique, which instantly lets you use another ability. So for instance, you can use your tail bounce, pop your ability, and then tail bounce again. Her ultimate is kind of squirrely too. You get to send forth an army of squirrels that do damage and bounce between structures. Just try not to get beat down in the process. Now when we're talking Black Widow, we're talking about the whole bakery. She has batons for close-up and personal combat, but of course she also has her signature sniper rifle. And if you have that insane aim, you can lay out enemies from a distance. Did I mention she has the whole bakery? She can also sprint into position, and while sprinting you have a more powerful jump. She also has Edge Dancer, which unleashes a flurry of kicks, allowing you to bust them up. Your ultimate changes your sniper rifle into a plasma cannon, which does massive damage and relays back this red goo that slows nearby enemies. She has the moveset to absolutely lay out the competition. The Scarlet Witch will have you feeling like an absolute goddess. She is stacked, and also stacked with some heavy DPS. So let's get into it. With the Witch, you need to be wary of your Chaos Energy, which are those 4 icons you see on screen. Your primary fire allows you to regain that Chaos Energy, and it deals damage based on the amount of health your enemy has. You're able to phase in and out of reality, being able to ascend and descend, and then you have a slow glide down. You can also fire bursts of Chaos Energy, which fire some explosive magic. You also have the Dark Seal ability, which you launch a seal to the ground, and when it it detonates, you'll have an orb. This orb stuns enemies within range, and her ultimate is absolutely scary. It erases anybody that's caught in the blast. Damn. Whenever you hear that ultimate move, you need to run. Iron Man has the ability to pull off some of the deepest plays. He can ascend and descend at will with his iron suit. His main fire is the repulsor blast, but he can also use uni beam from his chest. You can also use hyper velocity, which allows you to launch missiles at the same time, so you can kind of go in for an airstrike. You also have armor overdrive, which enhances your primary fire as well as your uni beam. Now that's what we're talking about, Tony. His ultimate is also diabolical, and it's called Invincible Pulse Cannon. You'll fire a devastating attack from above, eliminating anybody caught in the blast. We just did Jeff dirty, damn. All in all, Iron Man is pretty strong, and if you use him right, you can absolutely slice foes up. Now I don't know who Namor is, but for a fishman he has a pretty cool moveset. He throws his trident to deal damage. If you can hit your shots with the trident, or even get critical hits, it affects some of your abilities as well, such as minimizing the cooldown period, or when you use Aquatic Dominion, you could get them to be in a berserk state. Speaking of these octopuses, they automatically attack the enemy, and if you get a critical hit on the enemy, they turn into a berserk mode. You also have Blessings from the Deep, which propels you upwards into the sky and gets you into a protective barrier. You can also descend slowly down with your Pegasus boots. Now the Wrath of the Seven Seas launches a trident forward at the enemies. When your attack hits, your octopuses will have enhanced attacking, so make sure not to miss. And then your ultimate spawns in a huge fish to make a splash, dealing some massive damage. So don't sleep on Namor unless you want to sleep with the fishies. Now if you want to get bucked up, the Winter Soldier is for you. Your primary fire is your pistol. Your bullets will essentially pass through the first target, damaging them, as well as hitting anybody behind them. You have Trooper's Fist, which dashes you forward and launches your enemies up into the sky. You also have Bionic Hook, which you can charge up, and once you snag an enemy, it pulls them towards you. You also have Tainted Voltage, which allows you to use a powerful electrical punch. Landing a hit with this slows down the enemy, allowing you to do massive low taper fade damage. Your ultimate is called Cracked Impact. This ability has you leap high in the sky, and if you're able to kill somebody with this attack, you're able to essentially keep repeating your ultimate, so you can keep stacking that damage. Now Star-Lord is the aimbot king. You shoot with dual element guns, and you have a move called Stellar Shift, which allows you to dodge in any direction and automatically reload your weapons. This keeps you absolutely mobile in the face of your enemies. Damn, that's smooth. And if that's not enough, you have rocket propulsion as well, allowing you to ascend and descend. You get a slight boost to your movement as well, allowing you to get behind enemy lines. And then your blaster barrage fires off a series of shots, doing a bunch of damage. And then once you have your ultimate, it is basically aimbot. You point and shoot in the direction of your enemy, and you just lock on target. Damn, this man's is OP. If you see this man coming towards you, you better be ready. Here we go, it's Psylocke time. Whenever I see her, I get scared. She's equipped with a wide arsenal. Her primary fire is a psionic crossbow, and when you hit enemies with this attack, you reduce your cooldowns. Your Wings Shuriken ability allows you to hurl shurikens, and once you throw them, you can recall them at will. You also get some bonus health when you hit your target. You also have a few abilities to get you in and out of combat. The first is Psychic Stealth, which makes you invulnerable for a time and a movement boost. The next is Psyblade Dash, which allows you to dash through enemies, dealing a bit of damage in the process. And then her ultimate, you become a beautiful butterfly, allowing you to pull out your katana and do massive damage. She is an absolute powerhouse. Now we have Wolverine, an in-your-face type of man. He slashes forward with his adamantium claws, and when combined with his feral leap, you get a significant buff. So definitely use this to get the upper hand on your opponents. You have the ability Undying Animal, which lets out a roar. This will briefly reduce incoming damage. And then you have Vicious Rampage, where you dash forward with 2 claws, dealing damage. When you enter this enraged state, you get some passive healing, and then your ultimate allows you to launch people up, allowing you to do some pretty big damage. Now Iron Fist in Marvel Rivals is a man everybody dislikes, mostly because they're the ones getting bust up by his Fists of Fury. He is a super mobile hero, allowing you to wall run, you can jump up to 4 times in a row, and he can even heal himself. What makes him dangerous is his Dragon Defense. When your chi is boosted, you gain some damage reduction, bonus health, and the ability to lay down the smack. Damn, he basically be one-shotting opponents. You also have the Kunlun Kick, which dashes you forward with a kick doing damage. and the lower the health of your opponent, the more damage it does. So if you get caught in the combo, good luck, Chuck. You about to get your cheeks clapped. I hate seeing this man come after me. Damn. Now the Black Panther is kind of tricky to use. He has claws for his base attack, and his moveset comes with marking your foes with a vibranium mark. Once they have this symbol above them, you can get yourself certain bonuses. So attacking a marked enemy with your Spirit Ren gives you bonus health. You also have a spinning kick that launches you forward, and of course you have that Black Panther mobility, allowing you to run up walls. His ultimate ability allows you to leap forward, pouncing on your enemies. This in turn marks them as well, and refreshes your Spirit Rend ability. This is definitely a hero you'll need some practice with, but once you get used to the moveset, you will be destroying the competition. Now Spider-Man is the most difficult hero to master, according to the difficulty scale, and with the amount of abilities he has, I can see why. Your primary fire has you laying the beat down with your fists, and your secondary fire shoots a web. Once you shoot this web, you'll have a spider tracer on that target. So if you mark your enemy and then do your primary fire, you deal extra damage. Marking your target with the spider tracer also amplifies your ability damage, so always mark them before you bust them down. You have the Get Over Here ability, which allows you to use your web and pull enemies towards you, but instead if you mark your enemy first, you go towards them. When doing so, you do a backflip kick. Damn. And this pairs well with your uppercut ability. You also have some great mobility as well, with the ability to double jump. You can crawl on walls like a true Spider-Man, and you can even do a bit of web swinging. Oh yeah. You even get spidey senses when the enemies are nearby. Now that's some immersion. And then his ultimate is the Spectacular Spin. This launches a bunch of web clusters doing some damage. And every time I'm caught in this, I can't escape. That ability is absolutely OP. Hopefully this guide ended up helping you out. And if you're looking for more Marvel Rivals content, as the updates continue to roll out for this game, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.